And we have a lot of friends here already. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Uh-oh, I've got my sound on my computer. 1 second. There we go. All right, you guys did not want to hear me twice. People generally don't even want to hear me once. Morning to Dave, Lynn, Desiree, Megan. Thank you guys for hopping on early, saying good morning. I love the enthusiasm. This is a little something that we call Breakfast with Disaster. And if you've never joined us, it's a pretty simple thing. We tell you all the worst things that can happen so that you can avoid them. And we got a couple more people joining. I see those comments coming in. Morning, Nicole. Morning, Lisa. Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas, everybody. Why do we know about the worst things that can happen to you? It's a pretty weird thing to know about, and it's because this little orange house right here on my chest and on Tyler's chest here. We work for SERVPRO of the South Towns and SERVPRO of West Seneca Lancaster, and our entire job is emergency response, emergency cleanup. Things explode, they get wet, they flood, they catch on fire. But you guys know all that. We got some old pros here today. We got Tara, morning Tara. We got all our friends. We are live every Tuesday, by the way, at 10 a.m. We teach you about disasters. We do a prize drawing for the SERVPRO Mug Club at the very end. Morning, Jackie. And if you're not a part of the SERVPRO Mug Club, there is no good reason not to. Comment, let us know. It's free. You get a cool little coffee mug. You can win a prize. It's kind of a win-win-win sort of thing. You may have noticed we are not in Taylor's Tool Bench again for DIY Sember. Taylor is out sick, so we've had to adjust a little bit. I'll just stop that. We've had to adjust a little bit, but we've got some cool stuff for you. We're going to teach you... We're actually going to give you a little DIY task today, is how I would put it. You guys are going to do it yourself right here, right now. We've got a little bit of Christmas movie trivia for you, and we want you to count. That's your DIY activity. Count how many Christmas movie references we can make, because we can make quite a few here. Count how many references we make. When you hear a reference, I want you to comment it in the stream here, so we know you heard it, you identified it. Say what movie it came from. The first person to comment will get the points for it.
You watching?
And Tyler's keeping track of that, and they will get a very delicious special prize from Eileen's Centerview Bakery out in West Seneca, which makes some pretty good stuff. So when you hear a Christmas movie reference today, what I want you to do, throw it right in the comments. We will keep track of it, and the person who gets the most will win. Okay. That's not the topic. Our topic today is actually keeping you alive, as it usually is. Now, it may seem like the heat miser and the snow miser, right? They're arguing about the weather here in Buffalo. Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be warm? Is it going to be a total whiteout? Is there going to be a windstorm? There's a lot of interesting weather patterns here. It is not looking like we are going to have a white Christmas. Our temperature has been fluctuating more than Scott Calvin's weight class. And, okay, we got one, Tara. Tara, incorrect. That's one. Dave, what movie is it from? Heat Miser, I got there. What movie is it from, Tara? You're this close. Santa Claus. We got Santa Claus for Lisa. All right. Yes, temperature's changing. Christmas shaping up to have less snow than Brad and Kate's trip to Fiji. Megan got your out of Santa Claus. That does not mean you should not be prepared for severe weather, especially if you're having the family over for Christmas. Can you imagine getting stranded in your home with your Aunt Clara for 3-4 days at a time? No power, no heat. That does not sound like a lot of fun. In fact, that would make me feel a little cooler than Jack Frost. So, we've got a holiday hit list for you. This is 4 things that you can be doing. I've got a Christmas story for Lisa. She got it. 4 things you need to be aware of when that big blizzard hits, especially if you're going to be having guests. Christmas vacation, Jackie? No. Close. I know where you're going with that. Not Christmas vacation. Lisa got that one, actually. Got Jack Frost for Tara. All right. 4 things you got to be aware of, right, when that big blizzard hits. And I want you to imagine, got everybody over, the power's out, this is a real mess. Number 1 is to keep warm no matter what. And this seems pretty obvious, right, because it's winter. Good morning, Brianna. Morning, Maria. I'm loving it here. You probably remember your mom bundling you up for Christmas. In fact, you probably stood there like this saying, I can't put my arms down. And sorry, I almost put my arm into your face, Tyler. Your mom was right to do it, though. Heat is your most precious resource in the winter. And if you lose your heat, there's no shame in bundling up indoors. I know we all like to think that we're tough. We got another Christmas story. Lisa's killing it today. We all want to think that we should, we're tough Buffalonians. The cold doesn't bother us. We like to walk around in a t-shirt and shorts in the wintertime. That is a bad idea. No shame in the game of throwing on your winter jacket, your gloves, your hats, your ski jacket, your long underwear when you lose heat in your house. It's smart. Tara with a Christmas Carol again. You're so close. We got a lot of Christmas stories. People really got the arms one. Lisa was first. The whole point with the Christmas story reference was to bundle up. You also want to make sure that you've got a warm room in your house. And this isn't just like a room with a space heater in it, because, right, your power's out. This is a really bad storm. This is a warm where you all agree. We're not going to open the doors. We're not going to open the windows as much as possible. We do not want to let that heat escape. Heat wants to escape your home. That's why we insulate our homes and put new windows and doors. It is constantly trying to get out of there, and you want to give it as few chances as possible to do that. So you bundle up, you find a warm room, and depending on how much you like your family, this next bit of advice might be a little gross. Don't be afraid to snuggle up. Snuggle up with Grandpa Joe in that big bed of yours. Make sure your feet don't stick out the end. If you're in an emergency situation, you do need to take measures like this to make sure that you stay warm. I want to warn you, too, and I know this is another Buffalo tradition. You have a big snowstorm. Morning, Noel. You guys look like brothers. Thanks, Melissa, I think. Unless, I guess that's fine. I don't mind. Yeah. Buffalo tradition, right? You want to knock back a few cold ones. Willy Wonka. Tara got Willy Wonka. Knock back a few cold ones in the middle of a winter storm. Fine, fun. You got to be careful. People have this misconception that drinking makes you warmer. And this could not be further from the truth. Truth. Grandpa Joe. When you drink, your blood dilates, your blood vessels dilate, and blood does rush kind of to your skin. That's why you might see somebody whose nose is redder than Rudolph's. But this does not actually make you warmer. It makes you feel warmer, but you're actually losing more and more heat because that blood, where a lot of that heat is stored, is coming to the surface. So drinking your way through a blizzard is not a very good idea. And I would also warn you, because I do see people make this mistake. Say you do have a power outage or you lose your heat, and it's not necessarily related to like a major outage. It's something's wrong with your system. Who got Rudolph here? I think that was Lisa is killing it. Call a professional. Maybe it's SERVPRO. We can help you with stuff like that. We can at least help to find you resources. Maybe it's somebody you know who does HVAC. Call them as soon as possible. In an emergency situation, anybody that can help is... Terry, you're doing great. Morning, Kathy. Yeah, Rough Doll. Well, Rough Doll's a little close. In an emergency situation, we are probably running a list. Everybody's running a list. They're trying to get to people as soon as possible. You want to be as high up on that list as you can be. So if there is something wrong with your heat, call someone ASAP. Because you don't want to wait. They're probably not going to be able to get you immediately. I'm going to hand it over to Tyler for number 2 here. Tyler, you're going to be talking about light and power.
Awesome.
Good morning, Joey.
Well, first thing happens, you lose your electricity, you lose your lights, you can't see anything, and that's depressing because the 25,000 imported Italian twinkle lights all over your house were for nothing, and so they're out. You can't see anything, and plus it could start at like 3 o'clock now.
It's very depressing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So that makes this scenario even worse. All right, so there's a couple things you need in your emergency kit to overcome that loss of light. The most important one would be...
Jackie got Christmas Vacation. Good job, Jackie.
All right. The most important, the first thing that you can have is that power bank. That can... power bank for your cell phones is going to carry a heftier charge than powder. Remember the scenario, the big storm's going to hit on Christmas, so your entire extended family's at your house. You're going to have your teenage nieces, nephews, how are they going to do when their phones die? So you know what they're going to do? They're going to be breaking into your liquor cabinet faster than Hans Gruber broke into Nakatomi Plaza. So keep them charged. You want to be able to make emergency phone calls if you have to. So a charged phone is really good. It's a good flashlight as well. But another flashlight to have is a windable or a crank flashlight. Those are great because you don't need to have any extra batteries or anything.
Oh wait, no, Lisa got Die Hard.
Ooh.
Good job, Lisa.
The crank flashlight. I have one. Dan, do you keep a crank flashlight?
Do I have a crank flashlight?
Uh-oh.
No, I'm
Uh-oh.
like a stupid millennial. I have my phone. I
That's okay.
am not following some of it, but
We'll,
it's
we'll
good
get, we'll
advice,
get you one
yeah.
after this. We'll go and we'll stop by and grab you one.
Lisa just typed die.
You need one before this this Christmas. And so, you know, really important to have that light, because if you're walking around your house with no lights on, you get disoriented. You'll be falling down more staircases than Marv Merchants and Harry Lime. And so you definitely want to have light there. You want to have some candles as well. Sorry, I'm trying to read these at the same time. Candles, they're good to have. You know, candles are nice, but you have to be careful. Be very careful.
Ooh, Tara got home alone.
Very nice.
I can let it down.
Only takes one bumpus dog to knock over that candle, start a fire, you have a disaster on your hands. In fact, National Fire Prevention Association states candles cause about $291 million worth of damage annually.
That is a lot. And people don't really think that about candles, because everybody's like, why would I let a candle burn my house down? Lisa got Christmas Story. It does happen. I've seen people knock over candles and walk away. I've seen dogs knock over candles and you're not there. You should really be careful with them, blow them out when you go to bed, all of that stuff. But we're going to move on to point number 3 here as we continue this trip down Christmas movie lane. And I'm really sorry, Dave. I don't know if I have... I don't know... Well... can I just say Bedford Falls? Can I just add that in? Anybody going to get Bedford Falls? I'll throw you that one. We're going to talk about number 3 here. And that is to eat, drink, and be merry, which is always good advice on Christmas, right? But very important in an emergency situation, right? You need to make sure... Uncle, I give. You need to make sure you have enough food, water, supplies to make it through It's a Wonderful Life. Who got it? Dave got it. All right. Not on the list. I just threw it in there for Dave, but he got it. The CDC states that you should have at least 3 days of food stored in your home in case you do get stranded, stuck there. You can't exit. You can't cook. That food, well, I know it's Christmas, and you're thinking that should probably be the 4 major food groups, right? Candy, candy canes, candy corn, and syrup. I hate to burst your bubble, but that is not really the sort of food that's going to help you in an emergency scenario. It's really going to be stuff that is non-perishable, that has a long shelf life, and this is important, and people, I think, miss this. It doesn't need to be cooked. Now, oh no, got Elf. Lisa got Elf. Doesn't need to be cooked, and you may have a little leeway here if you've got a gas stove, and you may think, I'll be able to cook this whole time. Not a great idea to rely on it. If there's an emergency, you may lose gas as well. If something's really serious, you don't know which of your systems is going to be affected. You're going to want things like canned soup, canned vegetables. I know it's a little gross. It's not exactly Christmas dinner, but it's going to get you through. One thing that people do kind of miss in this is they'll Google emergency foods to have, and they'll just make a list based on that without really thinking about it. It's important to personalize that list. You might have special dietary needs. Say you're going to have people over and there's a baby or an infant. What can that baby eat? What can that toddler eat? What can you give that kid? It's probably not going to be cans of string beans, ideally. Or say you've got your little dog Zero. Zero's going to need some kibble. Or if you can't get to his kibble, you're going to have your wet food. You need to make sure that everybody in your home is going to be able to be fed for at least 3 days, because you're not going to be able to restock mid-storm. Morning, Jennifer. You also, and this is another benefit of canned foods, you really don't want to be opening and closing your refrigerator a lot. The CDC actually said in a power outage, food keeps inside that refrigerator, and we're talking perishable food, right? For maybe 4 hours, it's going to stay cold enough to keep it safe. In a freezer that's like half full, it'll stay safe for about 24 hours. And if that freezer's really full and everything in there is nice and cold, maybe 48 hours. Megan got Nightmare Before Christmas. Good job, Megan. I was hoping somebody would get that one. So, 4 hours, right? That's really your time limit, that if you're out of power and your fridge is just sitting there, after the 4-hour mark, you want to start thinking about migrating some of that perishable food to coolers with ice if you have them. And you may not have that on hand. You may have to throw some stuff out, unfortunately. But trust me, one of the nastiest things that we deal with here is failed refrigerators, failed freezers, things that end up sitting in there and rotting. It is pretty ugly stuff. And if you need help with it, we can certainly do it, but I don't want it to happen to you. So after about 4 hours, if stuff's sitting in the fridge that you think might go bad, if you can migrate it to a cooler on ice, perfect. And as far as water goes, this one's pretty simple, unless people in your house don't drink water, which I talked to some people who don't drink water, and it's kind of crazy to me. I should have done a Gremlins reference, Tara, from talking about water. That's a missed opportunity. This is what I did. I said there's no need to melt Frosty. 1 gallon of water per day per person is what you should have on hand. And like the CDC said, you should maybe be looking at least 3 days of supplies. So if you're going to have a house full of people and there's a chance that the big storm's going to hit, you might want to stock up. There's no shame in going to BJ's and grabbing a couple jugs of water, a couple cases of water bottles. It's not going to go bad. Who got Frosty? Tara got Frosty. Good job, Tara. And yeah, that's kind of to sum it all up. And we'll get to our trivia in a minute. You never know what's going to happen in Western New York. Christmas is this weekend. You may have a whole bunch of people in your house. I don't think there's going to be a storm. I'm not trying to alarm anyone. But it's good to be prepared for any eventuality. And being prepared is relatively simple. If you lose your heat, be ready to bundle up. Stock up on those blankets. Dress warm. It's not a point of pride to be walking around in shorts in 20-degree weather. It's just kind of dumb. If you do lose heat, conserve that heat. Make a warm room in your home. Don't open doors, open windows. Try to trap as much heat as you can. You should pack up an emergency kit. You especially want to make sure you have a phone charger or a power bank for your phones, because you won't be able to charge them, and you still want to be able to make emergency calls. There's lots of more. We could do a whole show on emergency kits. If you could Google it, is fine, but you want to at least make sure you have power, light, candles, flashlights, etc., so you can get around. If you do have candles, be careful with them. They can cause fires. They cause millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of damage every year. They are not fail-proof, as many people seem to think that they are. Stock up on that non-perishable food, canned vegetables, canned soup, anything special you need for anybody. Have that on hand. Put it in the pantry. It does not really go bad for a very long time. That's why the people kept it in bomb shelters. It could save your life. And generally, just use your head. One of the things that happen when there's an emergency is people sort of don't realize the gravity of the situation until it's too late. They waste resources. They waste time. You should treat emergency situations like they could become life-threatening. And we didn't talk about things like if your car gets stranded, but the same idea applies. Don't assume somebody's going to rescue you. Don't assume that your power is going to come right back on, that your heat's going to come right back on. It very well might. But those first couple of hours where you're making decisions could be the difference between, this is a funny story. The power went out on Christmas, and we were stuck in the house for 3 days with no food and no water, and we had to trudge over to the neighbors, if you have neighbors. Make good decisions. Follow these rules. They're really, really simple, and you should be okay. All right. I'm wondering what I said that could have been construed as bad Santa. Now I'm worried, Justin. We are going to give you the answers here, and then we will do our prize drawing. Does that sound fair? Who is our winner, by the way? It has to be Lisa. It's got to be Lisa. It's Lisa. Lisa, you were quick on the draw. You know your stuff. We also had Tara, Megan on the board. You guys did a very good job. Thank you guys for
Lisa
playing.
got 7 points.
And we are going to go through all of our references real quick right now before we do the prize drawing. First, and I accidentally brought this up because I was a little quick on the draw. Actually, why don't you run us through here? And
sure.
I will read you the lines.
All right. First one. A year without Santa Claus.
Yes, the Heat Miser and Snow Miser are arguing about the weather here. What is number 2?
The Santa Claus.
Yeah, I think somebody got Santa Claus, right? Scott Calvin, Tim Allen packing on the pounds. What about number 3 here?
4 Christmases.
I don't think did anybody get 4 Christmases?
I didn't have anybody here.
This was a tough one. Who knows who Brad and Kate are off the top of their head? How about number 4 here?
A Christmas Story.
Yes, that was an easy one. Aunt Clara. How about this?
Jack Frost.
That is a scary looking movie, and I do not like the way it looks. What about number 6?
A Christmas Story again.
Yeah, we got Randy here. Can't put his arms down. Number 7?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Not technically a Christmas movie, but I love a good Grandpa Joan reference as much as anyone. Number 7?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Sorry, that's number 8. And yeah, that's a pretty easy one. What about the next one here?
Next one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, so you got our 25,000 imported Italian Christmas lights. Oh, yeah, Twinkle Lights.
Twinkle.
God.
Next one is Powder.
Okay, this is not a Christmas movie, and nobody got it, and that is fine. Nobody needed to get Powder. I just made a joke about Powder having a charge.
After that, of course, we have Die Hard.
Yes, we've got Hans Gruber blacking out Nakatomi Plaza, much like a storm may black out your home. Hopefully it works out better for you than it did for him. What's up?
Next is Home Alone.
Yes, we've got Marv Merchants and Harry Lime here, who knew they had last names.
I didn't.
I know it. What's next?
Next is A Christmas Story again.
Yes, the GD Bumpus dogs eating the turkey here. Jennifer loves Powder. I love that, Jennifer. That's so funny. What's next?
Elf.
Yes, the four main food groups here. Candy corn, candy cane, syrup, and what was the last one?
Maple.
Just straight up candy.
Just candy.
Okay. Next one here.
Next, of course, we have Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, and good job to Megan for knowing zero. Great job. Next one.
We got Frosty.
Yes, but Frosty really should have been a Gremlins reference. And there's a last one here that I forgot to mention. So we're going to give Dave his point for It's a Wonderful Life instead. You might think our hearts are 2 sizes too small for doing this. We're just having a little fun. We do want everybody to win. And that is why we're ready for the prize drawing, I think. It's been a long show. This did take a little more time than I thought it would. But that's okay. So we are going to bring up the Wheel of Names. Megan, I love that. It is like my wife's favorite movie. We have not watched it yet this season. All right, you guys ready to win? We got 165 names on here, by the way. This is a growing club. It is very cool, and I really appreciate you guys being a part of it. And I'm going to have to do something special for you. Let's go.
All right.
Okay. Round and round and round it goes. Where it stops, I do not know. That is 349.
349.
And that is going to be, imagine a drum roll. That's Skip Hodgson over at Hodgson Insurance down the street from us.
All
so
right.
Skip, if you are watching, pop a comment in there so I know you were watching. Noel, I love you, Noel. Coolest club ever. The best. I'm coming soon with your Christmas present, by the way, Noel. Skip is our winner. Skip, if you're watching, pop a comment in here so I know. Otherwise, we'll pop over anyway. Congratulations to Skip. Thank you guys all for playing and being awesome and making this a fun little Tuesday diversion. It is the week of Christmas. I hope nobody's doing any work at all. We will keep on, of course, as we do. But I hope you guys are just maxing and relaxing. Thank you for being part of Breakfast with Disaster. We'll be back next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Hopefully we can continue DIY December. We've got something very cool in store if we can get Taylor back here. Until then, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say, Tyler?
Merry Christmas.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.